it's likely that we probably agree, if it is a fabrication, if it's not just he suddenly has started believing it again after 20 years. I think we probably agree on why he's doing that opportunistically as he's campaigning across the South. What I'm curious about is you did all this research. It's very clear, like the quote back in the 80s is very clear where he disavowed it. The quote from the book, incredibly clear. This is not like theory crafting. This is very clear, and yet the media seems entirely disinterested in this, what seems like it would be in any other case a massive scandal. I like to play a game where I ask, what if Bernie did this? I think that they would make some time to cover it, and yet they don't seem interested in this. Why do you think that is?
Well, I thought they would actually, and every time I want to believe that the mainstream media is going to do better, they always teach me otherwise. I wrote it in 10,000 words. I have almost 100 different sources in the story that I wrote. Our team went to Delaware and interviewed people in Delaware. We went to the Delaware Historic Society. You won't find a person on earth who will tell you that they marched or did sit-ins with Joe Biden when he was a senior in high school, that he went to a black church for training. It's a complete fabrication. It seems like the media is going to give him a pass. I think because they're afraid to damage him in the election. It's just their political preference in a way. But it's unthinkable that we're trying to defeat somebody in Donald Trump who is a known liar, who's told nearly 20,000 lies since he's been elected. How can we put somebody up against him who also has that same problem? And it's part of why I've tried to really be a supporter of Bernie Sanders, is because Bernie is the antidote to Donald Trump. He's the antithesis of Donald Trump. And Joe Biden, he's going to get slammed on these lies if he ever makes it to go against Trump. I don't think Biden will make it. I think people in South Carolina, they're seeing it, even though it's not in the mainstream media. Even just the people that have written me. He spoke at a church, Bethlehem Baptist Church in Columbia, South Carolina. I had several members from that church who reached out to me to tell me how hurt they were, because this is a Sunday morning and he's looking them right in the face and telling them things that he did in the civil rights movement. And they were very touched by it, only to find out it's a complete fabrication.
Yeah.
Like, you're right though, John, it should be a scandal that tanks his campaign. I don't think I've seen a single mainstream media reporter even challenge him on it.
I haven't seen a question at a debate. I haven't seen Chuck Todd bring it up on a panel. I haven't seen anything like that. Right. And so the mainstream media is apparently, like you did your work. Mainstream media is disinterested. Independent media will cover it, but we don't necessarily reach everybody. So like, as the third option, is this on the candidates? Should they be making ads sort of mashing up what he said and what the truth is? Or do they risk, I don't know, looking bad in some way for calling into question something that people have very serious and deeply held beliefs about that time?
No, I think candidates should pick it up. Like, I think it gets to his integrity in that regard. Like, in South Carolina, I would not be surprised if Tom Steyer picks it up, if other campaigns that are trying to challenge Joe Biden in competitive places. Yeah, I do think even Bernie's campaign should pick this up and just say, listen, this is just fundamentally not true, and that he continues to tell it. It's one thing if we were just talking, John, about him telling these lies in the 70s or 80s, it's still relevant. But he's telling those lies on the campaign trail at campaign events this year. And so, no, I wish campaigns would pick it up. My goal was just to put it out there and allow people to see the truth for themselves. Of course, I stand by it. And as you'll see, his campaign has not denied it, and they can't deny it. I mean, it's an undeniable thing that is so well sourced. He even mentioned it again at a campaign event last week. And I thought that my report would stop him from doing it. But anytime he is off the script, he tells these lies, man. It's disturbing.
Wow. And everybody watching this, if you want far more information, as Sean was saying, from 100 different sources, it's 2 truths and 31 lies Joe Biden has told about his work in the civil rights movement. Sean King, thank you so much for taking time out to join us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Take care.
You too. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.